For over 2,000 years, one book has stood as the ultimate guide to strategy, leadership, and the art of war. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. It's not just for generals. Its wisdom has inspired emperors, entrepreneurs, and modern leaders alike. Here at China Tales, we bring that wisdom to life, not with lectures, but through timeless legends from ancient China. This is Stories of Strategy, learning Sun Tzu through legends. Let the journey begin. In 630 BC, the sky over the state of Zheng was overshadowed by the dark clouds of war. The allied forces of the states of Jin and Qin loomed like two towering mountains, pushing the small state to the brink of annihilation. During the spring and autumn period, wars among feudal states were frequent and Zheng's fate was fragile, its survival hanging by a thread. King Zheng sat in his court deeply anxious. He knew that his country stood on the edge of destruction, vulnerable to the combined assault of Jin and Qin. At that moment, a senior minister named Zhu Zhiwu stepped forward and said,
"Our state is in grave danger. If we send Zhu Zhiwu to meet Duke Mu of Qin, he might persuade them to withdraw their troops."
The king was moved. He knew that Zhu Zhiwu was a man of eloquence and wisdom, but Zhu Zhiwu was over 70 years old and in poor health. Could he still shoulder such a critical mission? When summoned, Zhu Zhiwu declined, saying,
"In my youth, I was no better than others. Now that I am old, I have even less strength to act."
King Zheng felt disheartened, yet he quickly responded,
"It was my mistake not to have entrusted you earlier. But now, in this moment of crisis, I come to seek your help. If Zheng is destroyed, it will not serve you well either."
Zhu Zhiwu remained silent for a moment. Then, touched by the king's sincerity and mindful of his duty, he agreed to undertake the mission. That night, under the cover of darkness, he was lowered by rope from the walls of Zheng. Alone, carrying the hopes of an entire nation, he journeyed toward the Qin military camp. Duke Mu of Qin was curious. What could this elderly, white-haired man possibly say? Zhu Zhiwu began to speak. Though his voice was soft, each word carried weight and clarity.
"Zheng knows its doom is near. But will its destruction truly benefit you, the state of Qin? You have crossed a great distance to attack Zheng, a move that is neither strategic nor sustainable. And once Zheng falls, who will reap the rewards? Not Qin, but Jin. When Jin grows stronger, your own position will inevitably weaken. But if Zheng survives, it can serve as your eastern gateway, a transfer station for your envoys. We can offer safe passage, supplies, and hospitality. What harm is there in that? Moreover, you once rendered a great favor to Duke Hui of Jin. He promised to cede the lands of Jiao and Xia to you. Yet no sooner had he crossed the river and returned home than he built fortifications to guard against you, turning his back faster than a page can turn. And now Jin wants to control Zheng in the east and expand westward. If they do not take land from you, where else will they find it? By attacking Zheng, you are not protecting your interests. You are handing gains to Jin while weakening Qin. Please consider, do you truly wish to sacrifice your strength to benefit Jin?"
Duke Mu of Qin was struck by his words. They pierced like a sword, direct, sharp, and undeniable. He realized that Zhu Zhiwu was right. Destroying Zheng would not serve Qin, it would only embolden Jin. So Duke Mu made his decision. He ordered his army to withdraw, and even left a contingent behind to help defend Zheng. When Duke Wen of Jin heard of Qin's withdrawal, he was reluctant. Yet he understood. Without Qin's support, Jin could not conquer Zheng alone. He too had no choice but to retreat. Zheng was thus preserved. Zhu Zhiwu, with wisdom and courage, saved his nation from the brink of destruction. Despite his age, he accepted the mission in a moment of crisis. Descending from the city wall by night, He entered the enemy's camp, spoke with clarity and foresight, and turned a dire situation into salvation. The story of Zhu Zhiwu persuading Duke Mu of Qin to withdraw his troops from Zheng is a vivid embodiment of Sun Tzu's principles in the art of war, particularly from Chapter 3, Attack by Stratagem. Here's how this historical moment mirrors key teachings from Sun Tzu. 1. The best thing of all is to take the enemy's country whole and intact. To shatter and destroy it is not so good. Zhu Zhiwu realized that destroying Zheng would not benefit Qin in the long run. Instead, he persuaded Duke Mu that preserving Zheng as a friendly state could serve as a strategic eastern gateway for Qin. This perfectly reflects Sun Tzu's belief that the highest form of warfare is to subdue the enemy without destroying them. 2. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. Zhu Zhiwu achieved a diplomatic victory without a single battle. Through calm reasoning and strategic persuasion, he disarmed a threat through words alone, exemplifying Sun Tzu's ideal of subduing enemies without bloodshed. The highest form of generalship is to balk the enemy's plans. By appealing directly to Duke Mu's long-term interests, Zhu Zhiwu undermined the alliance between Qin and Jin. He disrupted the plan to jointly conquer Zheng, thereby weakening the enemy's strategy before it was fully enacted. For know the enemy and know yourself, and you will not be imperiled in 100 battles. Zhu Zhiwu understood not only Zheng's vulnerability, but also Qin's geopolitical calculus. His tailored message showed a deep awareness of both sides' goals, demonstrating Sun Tzu's timeless truth. Strategic awareness is the root of all victory. 5. The skillful leader subdues the enemy's troops without fighting. He captures their cities without laying siege. Not only did Zhu Zhiwu avoid war, but his persuasion led to Qin leaving troops to help defend Zheng, turning a threat into a shield. This wasn't just diplomacy, it was strategic inversion, converting an enemy into a protector, a perfect realization of Sun Tzu's vision of achieving results without force. Conclusion. Zhu Zhiwu's actions offer a real-world illustration of Sun Tzu's most profound ideas. He used wisdom instead of weapons, alignment instead of annihilation, and proved that in the art of war, sometimes the sharpest sword is the tongue. This story reminds us, victory is not always won on the battlefield. The mind is the greatest weapon of all.